Ohio State taking the Gucci ostrich leather silver buckle belt to the behind of the Tennessee Volunteers in Columbus. Final score 42-17. Did not have that on my bingo card. I don't think a lot of folks had that on their bingo card. We'll unpack this one together. What happened in the game? More importantly, we talk about the big picture here. What does it mean for Ohio State moving forward? Glad to have y'all dialed in. Glad to have you subscribe to the On3 YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, subscribe now, Ohio State Buckeye fans. Big one lined up in Pasadena for you with the Oregon Ducks, round 2. We're going to have a prediction for you on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Appreciate y'all in advance for that. They're back, baby. They're back. The thing about the Michigan game that I think was a little bit dangerous for the entire college football public was we saw what happened. We saw Michigan's record, and we say, oh, Ohio State must not actually be that good, right? There's a thing in sports called the yips. And the yips is essentially a psychological issue where it doesn't have anything to do with what you can do physically. It's a mental block. Now, is that the case with Ohio State and Michigan? I don't know. It sure feels like that. But again, going back to Ohio State, this is always what they were capable of. This was always who they could be. Like Ohio State, I don't think anyone has ever questioned if they have the talent to go win a national championship. If you were questioning that, I think you'd be well advised to adjust that opinion after what you saw tonight in the shoe. So the Michigan game, yeah, it kind of muddied the picture on Ohio State, gave them the 8th seed. Is Ohio State going to be able to bounce back? They bounced back in a massive way. And that locker room deserves a ton of credit. Ryan Day deserves a ton of credit because all that we've talked about since that game is like, how are the vibes in Columbus? Are they going to be able to respond? This team gets punched in the mouth. Like, how do they deal with that? Ohio State, they had every opportunity to pack it in and say, you know what, too much for us to handle, too much for us to push through as a team. I don't know if we have enough to circle the wagons. Tennessee's a good football team. Do we really have, 30% of that crowd was Tennessee? Ohio State, to be able to bounce back the way they did, should terrify everybody. More on that in a second. What also should terrify everybody is Will Howard, contrary to some of these takes that have been flying around since the Michigan game, he's a good quarterback. And I will maintain this stance. I said it after the Oregon game. I will say it again. He is good enough at the quarterback position to win you a national championship. Now, he has to be consistent. He has to meet the moment. But it has never been a matter, I don't think, for Will Howard of what he is able to do physically, what he's able to accomplish for you. I mean, tonight, over 3 bills. He's slashing and dashing in the run game. I mean, like, that version of Will Howard is good enough to win a national title. And it's not a situation now where, like, the Tennessee defense isn't all that great. No, that's one of the top 5 defenses in college football. That Tennessee defense was going to be a very difficult test for Ohio State from a matchup perspective. Nobody told Will Howard that, so, I mean, it went how it went. Jeremiah Smith is hilarious. Just have to make sure we say that here. Hat tip Chip Kelly for being a little more creative in the play calling and, being a little more dynamic in that sense. Jeremiah Smith is an action figure, okay? 6 catches, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Who's guarding that dude? Like, who is lining up with number 4 and saying, yep, we like this matchup? One, I'll tell you, nobody, all right, going forward, nobody feels that way. Second, if you feel like you can't accomplish that, then you're getting dominated. If you don't feel that way, which, again, is what we advise on this show, probably got to give some extra help over there. Well, guess what else happens then? Emeka Egbuka gets to roll. Probably have to account for that run game as well with Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. If Will Howard's dialed in, someone else getting the football as well. I mean, Carnell Tate's involved. There's so much quantity of weapons to where I don't know how you account for all of them appropriately. And so if Chip Kelly's dialed, if Will Howard's dialed, like, we've seen what this thing can be. They just tore up a top 5 defense in college football. It's proof of, it's not like hypothetical. We've seen it right now. We've seen it a couple times. Speaking of matchups, defensively, say what you want about Nico Iamaleava. I don't think in the same sense of what we said about the offense with matchups, I don't think there's a situation where Ohio State will be out-matchupped defensively. Like a bunch of NFL dudes in the secondary. Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau looked like some bullies tonight against that Tennessee offensive line. Like, that's a group now that in every single spot should feel more than confident about their overall talent level matching up every single Saturday or every single whatever day of the week these college football playoff games fall on, all right? So here's the thing that's the most intriguing about Ohio State to me going forward. We talk about the talent level. We talk about the engine, the horsepower, all those things. That's fun. That's all that's real on paper. But to see it translate to the grass, to see that extra oomph, I think is very interesting as we look at what Ohio State has in front of them. There are 3 games from winning a national championship. 3 games. All right? If they do that, it will be the purest, most legitimate national championship in the history of the sport, as we've talked about. 1, because of the opponents you would have to go through, starting with Oregon and likely ending with someone like a Georgia in the national title game. We're just taking the highest seed from that other side of the bracket. Also, number of games. I mean, to play 4 games after a 12-game season, again, the purest national championship. So that leads me to say this then. At that point in time, Ryan Day and the optics around him in Columbus, I know the Michigan game is the Michigan game, but like, I do think there is some sense of like, hey, we're good. Like, do we love the Michigan stuff? No. But adding a national championship to this trophy case, after you went through that gauntlet, after you went through just, the absolute worst national title path you could have drawn up for a team, okay. All right, we'll call it even. And so this team now, we kept questioning, what are the vibes? How's the approach going to be? Y'all, they were on a mission. They were on a mission tonight. Okay, so you got to keep your pedal to the metal. But if that's the angry, salty, pissed off Ohio State team we're going to see here the rest of the way, paired with the talent, hey, get out of the way. Right? So I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch them play Oregon for the second time. No idea who will pick in that game, so make sure you're subscribed for our prediction in that one. But I'll tell you this, man. Ohio State, they have proven yet again why we thought they were so good early on in the year. The Michigan game kind of discombobulated us, gave us some of that Men in Black forget-me spray. We got reminded tonight, and I'm very glad that was the case. And very glad to see, for Will Howard's sake, for Ryan Day's sake, for just everyone in Columbus that had been hearing so much mess. Everyone's turning the lights out off on them. For them to respond that way is cool to see. All right, so with that being said, make sure you're dialed in. Make sure you are subscribed. If you're a Buckeye fan, just found the channel, y'all are about to go on a run here, baby. Big one coming up in the Rose Bowl, so make sure you're subscribed. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.